Hey, it's Prepper Action, and this video is some of my favorite scenes from The Journey, a project I did a few months ago that kind of showcased prepping ideas and survival in a very rudimentary way through the character Gordon, who found himself in a shit-hit-the-fan situation and just had to deal with survival on his own. This is at the San Onofre nuclear power plant, the checkpoint station for CHP, and my camera kind of fell off the dashboard, which kind of spawned this idea of, something happened here, like maybe a massive solar flare or EMP, and it takes you on the journey of this one man trying to get home. And I filmed near this rail station here, and this was really a really cool looking area. Some of these ideas presented in this series were very rudimentary, because if you were to try and present something a little more complicated, it would be very hard to get on film without turning to the camera and actually explaining what you're doing. But this scene here is a nod to James Wesley Rawls' novels, The Founders, Patriots, and that book where some of the characters move through the sewer systems to kind of evade. This is a pretty iconic scene in the series. I just like the way it looks. You got this big round dark sewer system and the character coming through it, kind of emerging from the shadows. And then the scene here where it was just wall-to-wall spiders was pretty creepy, and I thought, yeah, I got to put that in there. All the vines and stuff. And this cat here was I didn't notice, but it was nursing a kitten at first. I didn't notice it till I seen the footage afterwards. And this Dyer Past Dark graffiti shows up in a couple different scenes. I don't know who put this graffiti out, but he's pretty prolific in this area. And the shoe was kind of a weird scene. I came across it, and it was, the sole was stuck to the concrete by just years of being pounded down with, the sun and heat. This is one of my favorite scenes here, just the transition from a silhouetted area in this tunnel. This tunnel in particular goes at least a mile underneath the shopping center, and the red flare just adds a really dynamic look to it. It does give off quite a bit of light, this flare does, so it's something I would keep in my pack. Red signal flare. Here's one of the dramatic scenes from part 2 of The Journey, where he actually confronts a marauder. This part here I wanted to do very, kind of surprises the viewer as he comes into the scene. I also like this part here where the marauder displays his weapon. He's going to try and get the jump on our character Gordon with a pipe wrench. Looking for that firearm. And now the setup. That part was actually filmed in my garage, so that's called Soundstage 1. This scene I like a lot just because the music I selected was ominous, and it's kind of bringing you into the next scene, which is very dark and almost ominous looking. And a lot of this filming in the editing process I did with music to try and build a kind of tension and then a release. This is one of my other favorite scenes where the character picks up this candle, sees this book of spells, and then I thought of doing this part where it stops and it's silent, and then all of a sudden it goes back to the scene. Kind of like a homage to some you know, spooky horror movies that I've seen where they use that tension, the build up and then the release, and then you jump out of your seat when the next scene comes. But I kind of tried to convey that in this. Here's another scene I like, just the way these goggles look. They look, you know, post-apocalyptic. It reminds me of the one character from Book of Eli, the motorcycle guy who got offended by the cat being swished off his bar in that one scene where Eli kind of destroys him. And here's a slow motion clip that I thought this music perfectly goes with it. It almost looks like a Quentin Tarantino type scene, and the music just goes with that. So I transition into some softer music on this scene where he's leaving an area. Again, with the Journey series, there's absolutely no dialogue in it, so you kind of have to watch what he's doing. And this scene coming up is another one of my favorites. It's got the locked trailer. There might be something inside this trailer, and I have some reservations about this background music. It almost sounds like a game show, you know, answer the question within 5 seconds or you lose this round type of music, but I just went with it. So he's going to pick this lock here, and I was hoping that I would get this filmed in the first take, because filming in this area of a guy dressed like he is picking a lock and a cop might come by, I actually got it in the first take. So this scene got wrapped up quickly before, you know, it got suspicious looking. And this is my company's equipment, and you know, I wasn't like breaking into an actual trailer with lock picking. And there's nothing in the trailer. Well, that happens sometimes. This is another cool scene where the character takes his firearm out and just places it in there. Multiple camera angles were used in this scene. I had like 3 different placements of camera angles in this cab. I always like to kind of get different camera angles to kind of balance it out, look like it's almost like a movie. So he's got half a tank of gas. Hopefully this thing starts and he can get some miles on his journey. Now he's got to dump this empty trailer because it's just dead weight, and he can use more diesel, get more miles out of that truck without lugging this empty trailer around. So drop this trailer and take off. And I had a camera mount on the back of the tractor as it was pulling away from the trailer. You can see it right here in this scene. Worked out pretty good. It was pretty stable platform. But then I added a mount on the front mirror, and it was not stable, so you kind of see some shaking. But there's the getaway. And here I got a close-up camera mount, and then a mid-scene type camera mount. Another close-up, back to the mid-scene. A lot of camera changes. Sometimes I'm handheld and sometimes I'm mounted on a camera mount with this camera. But this is one of my favorite transition parts right here. Just the music and the question mark, is it the end? Is it the end of the Journey series? Well, we'll see. And this is Prepper Action. Thanks for watching, and be safe.